Welcome to another word problem video. This one is all about inequalities. Let's dive right into it and see how to solve this situation. So we're given the fact that you go to a concert, knowing that you can spend at most $125. So in my typical way of solving word problems, if I can translate as I read, I do. So I stop there. I see that we have at most $125. So at most means that that is the very highest amount of money that we can spend, but it implies that there's an inequality. At most is less than or equal to $125. So without even really knowing what we're solving for, I know that I've got less than or equal to 125 involved somewhere. Sweet. So we just translated that first sentence. Your ticket will cost $35. So that's a one-time amount. That's not changing, right? And that might be addition. Let me put a little note there, like 35 and. Band t-shirts cost $18 each. Or for every t-shirt, it costs 18 bucks or $18 per shirt. All the same kind of thinking, right? So $18 each. Let's think about this. $35 and plus $18 each. I'm going to just go ahead and write that out as the expression. 35 and 18, and I'll put X for the number of shirts, right? Because if you have one shirt, it'd be 18 bucks. Two shirts, 2 times 18. X shirts, X times 18. So let's see if our inequality works out. Write and solve an inequality to find the most number of shirts you can buy. Yeah, we just translated everything we needed. So rather than go back and read it again, we've gone word for word. So the $35 you spent on a ticket, in addition to that, the $18 per number of shirts that you buy must be less than or equal to the $125 that you have to spend. It's beautiful. Now, the one thing I always do is let's define variables. So before we solve this, X will equal to, and it's actually defined in the question here, it says write and solve an inequality to find the most number of shirts. So X is the number of shirts. So I'll just put number of shirts. Now from here, all we have to do is solve the inequality. What's left is algebra. So we're going to undo plus 35 by subtracting 35 from both sides of the equation. The 35s cancel out and we're left with positive 18x is less than or equal to 125 minus 35 is going to be 90. From here, we're going to divide both sides by 18. It's a positive number, so we don't need to worry about switching the signs. So I divide both sides by 18, and the 18s divide out, and I'm left with x is less than or equal to 90 divided by 18 is 5, which means the most number of shirts we can buy is 5 shirts. So I'd write a sentence like, we can buy a maximum or a max of 5 shirts. And I'm assuming that these shirts that you're buying, that they're different. Otherwise, it's kind of strange that you're buying 5 of the same shirt. Just a thought. We are going to go to a second word problem on the other side of this video. It's all about finding averages, which is pretty cool. This is another classic kind of word problem so that you're covered on all ends of solving word problems involving two-step inequalities. All right, here we are on the flip side of word problems involving inequalities. So we've got a very classic average test score problem. I've seen this in so many different textbooks and so many different classes that I've either taught or tutored for. And I thought, you know what? Let me bring it to you. So you set a goal to earn at least an average test grade of an 80 among 4 tests you take. A couple of key things here. The at least right there, an average test score of an 80. So if we're going to earn at least an 80, I've got greater than or equal to 80. That's at least. We write that down, we translate it as we read, as I said earlier in the video, and in all my word problem videos. Now, the other key part here is that you're averaging out of 4 tests. So if we're going to average something, right, the average, let's just kind of jot this down. I'll write it down over here as a separate thought. The average amount, right, so the average is going to be equal to all the test scores, so all 4 of them, all added up, divided by the 4 test scores that we have. So you're going to add up all the test scores and divide by the number of tests, because the average or the mean is the sum or the addition of all the data, in this case test scores you have, all over the number of test scores you have, or test scores over 4. We're going to use that main thought now to rock the rest of this problem. So We're told that you earn a 74, an 87, and an 83 on the first 3 tests. What must you earn on the 4th test to reach your goal of getting at least an 80? We're going to add up our 4 test scores, right? Well, you have 3 of them. You have a 74 plus an 87 plus an 83. Well, what's your 4th test score? You don't know it. An unknown is going to be X. So your 4th test score is just going to be plus X, an unknown amount, right? That's what we're solving for. And we need to divide that by 4 because the average is, again, the test score is out of 4. So I think in a word problem like this, it's not as easy to translate it piece by piece. The greater than or equal to came from at least, but it came from a little bit of a side quest, a little bit of thinking off to the side where we said the average is the sum of all of these pieces divided by the number of pieces. And then we apply that idea to the main word problem. Very, very cool. So make the idea simple and then apply it to the specifics of what the word problem calls for. So now we got one heck of a problem to solve. How do we do this? It's a bit of a challenge. Well, the first thing we can do is simplify the addition. So I'm going to do this with, you can either do it with a calculator or mentally. 74 plus 87 plus 83 is going to be, let's see, 244. So you're going to get 244 plus X all divided by 4. And that is still greater than or equal to 80. Now from here, I need to actually undo division by 4 because the order of operations would have me adding 4 and then adding 244 to X and then dividing by 4. So we're going to undo division by 4 by multiplying both sides by 4. So that's why this is a bit of a challenge here. It's the algebra. The 4's divide out and you're left with 244, right? The sum of those test scores plus X is greater than or equal to 4 times 80 is 320. And then we're going to find our answer by subtracting 244, undoing plus 244. So we do that to both sides of the equation. The 244's cancel, and at long last, we have X is greater than or equal to, that is going to be 76. So what that means is you need to earn at least a 76 points, percentage, whatever the score is on your 4th test to earn at least an 80. So you got a bunch of other scores you can earn higher than that as well. A very cool classic word problem, with a little bit of challenging algebra, and some really cool thinking that we did off to the side.